Afternoon. I've just been watching the Daily Australian video with two girls, one pretending to ask questions, and the other one pretending to answer them by reading off her little text, whatever it is. You're not doing any services to this country by telling lies. Did you put those lies together? I doubt it. To start off with, the Commonwealth of Australia was registered in the US Securities Exchange Commission as a corporation. It created the Commonwealth of Australia LLC, Limited Liability Company. It took every utility out of this country and registered them US Securities Exchange, no, US Department of Justice under the Foreign Agent Registration Act. All facts. I researched it, you've researched nothing, you've just taken something from government rhetoric. Well, the government don't exist. We have a three-tier, an executive, a legislature and judicature. What you've done is you are attacking our system, trying to make out that you know something. Unfortunately, you two are wet behind the ears. You know nothing of how this system works. Nothing. How do I know? Because I teach the supreme law of this country. Treason is a breach of allegiance they owe to the people. Concealing it is misprision treason. The treason, partly what you're talking about from your little notes. You should look at Halsbury's Laws of England, Volume 2, and read up about proper treason. It's the Treason Felony Act. You seem to think that you know everything, but you know little or nothing. You see, as I keep saying, this is the Commonwealth Constitution Act, the one the people had put together in a draft copy, went to Queen Victoria, it came back, it was passed by Queen Victoria on the 9th of July 1900, and it was passed here by the people on the 1st of January 1901 as a Commonwealth Constitution Act 1900 UK, which creates Australia not as a sovereign citizen, not as a sovereign nation, but under the provisions of Clause 8 as a self-governing colony. As I said before, this is the interpretation of that Constitution. It is not nonsense, it is not garbage as considered by political parties. It's not pseudo-legal, pseudo-law, or any other bits of your garbage. Prince Leonard didn't get wandering off and claim himself as a prince and everything else. The Parliament of the time, which was utterly corrupt, prohibited him for selling his wheat, therefore restricting his ability to make a living. So he went outside of the system and got permission of the Crown of England to set up a province called Hutt River Province, something you know nothing about, obviously. And as for vaccines, let's clear that up. When all this pandemic or scamdemic, which you claim, we sovereign citizens, I'm not a sovereign citizen. I'm a sworn officer of the Crown, have been since 1965, am now, and am a Commonwealth public official, lawfully sworn and proven in the courts here. You should be very careful of the way you treat people in this country. If you want to be taking it seriously, research properly. Research the Commonwealth Constitution Act, not the piece of garbage green thing the government's throwing around. Go into the proper one and get a copy of this. You know who I am, you know who my page is, and if you can't find this, and you actually want to find out the truth, contact me on my Facebook page by messenger, and we'll send you every single thing you need to know about the truth. Not the lies told by political parties who are not the government. You see, at federal level, we need, look at that, a Governor General. And when the Parliament's assembled, he selects 10 from the lower house, 8 from the upper. That is the executive government. She grants to each of them a portfolio. And she only can do that, or he only can do that. She is the representative of the Crown of England, under the authority of the reigning monarch. You have given the idea, oh, well, you know, it's just a blasé thing, and no, and we're just sovereign citizen nuts. No. And in relation to your vaccine, let's have a good look at it. We filed a freedom of information to the TGA for a reason, a very good, lawful reason, not your pseudo-law garbage that they call law in this country, because it's garbage, it's not law. A parliament does not propose law. The governor in council proposes law. Each of them puts the law together as a group. They hand it to the lower house of parliament, being the House of Representatives at federal level, if it existed lawfully. But it does not. Has none. Yes, I agree with you, Mark. But open your eyes to the truth. We have never had a lawful federal parliament. The reasons I can explain to you, I can serve it to you in lawful documents filed in the court here, which they've removed cases so they don't have to deal with it. The High Court's been compromised by a 1979 Act which controls it, which makes it a fraud. No separation of powers, no authority whatsoever. All courts are part of a federal judicial system with a High Court at the summit. How do I know that? Our Constitution says so. And a decision of the High Court says so. The Cable decision, if you can read that far. You seem to think that it's open shut. Oh, we can make all these headlines out of sovereign citizens. That's an oxymoron. There's no sovereign citizens. There's people who believe in the system or people who know it is corrupt. How do we know it's corrupt again? Go back to the health minister at the time. Did you check up to see the validity of those vaccines? Commonwealth Criminal Code. If you give an experimental vaccine to the people, that's an act of terrorism. Fact of law. Not pseudo-law, real law. When the lower house parliament in Canberra, getting back to that, passes the law to the upper house, which is the Senate, it checks whether it complies with the Constitution. If it doesn't, it has no value. If it does, it goes to the Governor-General, if that was lawful, but Moxon is not. Mostyn is not. She never swore the lawful oath. She doesn't exist in law. You can't, no point going back on your little show having a go at me. You want to know the truth, come on my Facebook page. I'll give it all to you. Has to go by messenger because the Constitution itself is too large. It's 1,008 pages, not a little flimsy piece of garbage given to you by politicians. I did challenge what took place when those two police were shot, if they were shot, if they existed. If they existed. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying they weren't shot. I'm saying there's so much mixed information coming out of there, and the media are messing it up because they won't shut their mouths and check their facts before they start blubbering on and telling everybody what they think they know. You think you can come on our internet? It's ours. It belongs to the people. It does not belong to the government. All the government wants to do is shut us up so we can't talk. Now, in relation to the vaccines, not only is it an act of terrorism by using experimental vaccines on the people, TGA never ever isolated the COVID-19 virus and still haven't, according to the TGA. I've got the documents to prove it. I proved it on here. Pfizer said 20 out of every 1,000 die from their vaccine. Pfizer, the manufacturer. Huge amounts more are crippled, maimed, and suffer all sorts of diseases and things from the vaccine. Pfizer said, I presented the document on here. You people seem to think there's a bunch of nuts who just go around wanting to oppose the law. No. I spent 17 years in the police force in Western Australia and discovered the biggest liars in our state and the biggest criminals sat on the bench in the Supreme Court, District Court and in the Parliament. None of them have sworn the lawful oath, none of them exist in law. How do I know? The Constitution says so, and the laws putting the office of governor, their letters patents can't be touched or changed. The state constitution has never ever been put in place. So I suggest you two young ladies, you seem intelligent, contact me and I'll give you the details that show that the people you're dealing with are morons and liars. We are not stupid. We are people that have spent our lives studying law, our law, the supreme law of this country, which isn't political parties' lies, that you are helping get to a point where they can take this country and hand it over to a one world system of government where you're going to be abundantly happy, owning nothing at all. You work all your life to buy a property and they're going to take it off you and give it away. You talk about the native race of this country, which you know nothing about. You don't. Anybody says they've been here millions of years is living in La La Land, smoking too much dope. Don't back up things you know nothing about. To be a good journalist, I'm not insulting you, to be a good journalist, or whatever you call yourself, and I'm not knocking you, you have to know both sides of the story. If you give the rhetoric of this stupid clowns that call themselves the government, you're nothing but a moron. People will look down at you and say, what the hell's going on with you? Why bang on the door of the GG seems a waste of breath. I'm sure Wayne will give us whose door you need to bang on. Yeah, I will. When people bother to ask me, I've got an idea how to get rid of that silly old bag, because she's not the Governor General, she's just a pretend one. There's no such office as the Prime Minister. No one person in a parliament that is there to serve the people can go to another country and sign away our rights. We have total freedom of speech. Nobody can take that away as long as what we say doesn't hurt other people. I'm not hurting people. I'm stating what the law says. Liars, thieves, cheats and traitors. If you want the real story, you two young ladies, my name is Wayne Glue. Go on my Facebook page, send me a message and I'll give you all the information you want. Law, factual law that proves what I'm saying and a lot of people like me are saying, not the lies that are coming out of the mouths of political party-backed treasonous so-called governments, which are only a parliament with limited authority. Our Constitution says every single law passed must comply with the Constitution. If it doesn't, it does not exist. That is a fact. Pseudo-law is not what you're told. If it doesn't comply with our Constitution, it is pseudo-law. Treason, garbage, rubbish, leading to a conviction of treason and misprision of treason for concealing it. Wake up! You're being lied to. It's time to stand up. Australians stood up yesterday and said, no, not to mass immigration without the provisions of facilities needed to take the people in here. So instead of kicking Australians out and hiding the fact there's over 60,000 in Geraldton alone, and thousands around Western Australia, boarded up so people can't use them. Why am I sounding angry? Because I am. That people are so stupid, they don't want to look at the facts. I'm not calling you stupid. I'm telling you, you need to get off your butts, contact me, I'll give you the law and show you the imperial laws that we are bound to under Clause 5 of the Constitution. Not maybe, we are. We had a referendum in 1999 to retain the Crown and everything to do with it. They just ignored it and went on. We have nothing but a bunch of brain-dead muppets sitting in our parliament who refuse to abide the laws of this country, comply with the laws of this country, because the people are supreme. The supreme, absolute and uncontrollable authority remains with the people. There is nobody above it. I don't care what professor from what university. University is a playground for stupid people to learn nonsense, because 90% of what you're teaching in relation to the law is a lie. And I've got the evidence to prove it. If you people are interested in the truth and want to pretend you're somehow doing a service to the people, contact me. I'll give you every single thing you want. Bar none. You'll have the lot. It's a lot of pages. I go back through the history of England, how this country come about, who was here first, and it certainly wasn't the ones now. You weren't here. You're not the First Nation. The First Nation ever registered on this landmass before white people is the Egyptians, the First Nation. Anything else is a lie. You want the evidence? I've got it. So instead of blabbing on and making out you know everything and you got your little tablet reading up the answers to the questions on the other lady's tablets, you put this together to mock the people, saying, oh, the sovereign citizens are mad. I'm not a sovereign citizen. The stupid Sunday Times lied and said I was. Says so on their page in the middle. I answered all that. What I want you to understand, stop blabbing on about people, because we've had a guts full. We are not going away. You are not sticking around here. We are not going to put up with your rubbish now or any other time. You understand that? You want to go and use our airwaves, use it wisely for the benefit of all Australians, not those maggot brains sitting in Parliament who know nothing about anything. We've spent 10 to 15 years trying to convince politicians just to look at our law. They won't. They won't. You know why? Because it takes away their cushy little jobs. You cannot work in our Parliament except on an hourly rate to recover the money you spend. There is no wages for anybody except the Executive Council while they sit, which changes every now and again. That's all it is. You can tell you what you like. You can say what you like. There was no racism or any other crap that went on in those rallies yesterday. There was nothing. People spoke civilly, all except for where? Victoria. Oh, he's a terrible guy. He shot 2 police. Yeah, well, the police opened fire on the public with rubber bullets, all in their little suits, making out they were heroes. As I said last night, I don't know if he's guilty or not, but at least he will stand trial if they don't shoot him dead. All I'm asking is you don't shoot him dead. You do everything in your power to put him before a jury of his peers. Not a Martin Bryant one where you sealed it for 70 years. Not the homosexual child molesters in the Parliament and all around through the government departments you sealed for 85 years. Not the lies and fraud you've committed against the people of this country. Not the unlawful laws you put there and inflicted on this people. No. Go back to honesty in our Parliament. It's going to hurt bad because you people don't know how to tell the truth. As soon as your lips start moving, you start spewing out lies. So please, to those 2 young ladies, do not follow these donkeys. Research properly. If you want it, I'll give you everything you need to research it. It's got royal identifiers on it. It is factual law in this country, not political party garbage. Political parties have no authority whatsoever, believe me. And I can prove it. You want to know the truth? Get up there. You'll have another heap of followers, believe. I'll get all my followers to follow you. If you put the truth. As I said before, and I keep saying, you tell lies about us, I'll tell the truth about you. So you have another day. Another nice day, rather. Thank you.